How about ice cream?
I bring ice cream.
Interesting. Even though it's got sugar.
I love ice cream.
What if you could ask a doctor who has spent years studying sugar and ultra-processed food one simple question? What foods would you never keep in your own house? That's exactly what Dr. Robert Lustig was asked, and his answers are interesting. But more importantly, why does he avoid these foods? Let's break down what he said.
Anything with a trans fat.
First, trans fats. So what exactly are trans fats? They're a type of fat that can be especially harmful to your heart. Here's the simple version. Trans fats can raise LDL cholesterol, often called the bad cholesterol, while lowering HDL, the good cholesterol. That combination is bad news for your arteries. Over time, that can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. That's why Lustig's answer here isn't just a personal preference. There's strong scientific evidence behind limiting artificial trans fats.
How about Coke?
Oh yeah, I mean that's like a given.
You wouldn't bring that.
I would never bring a sugared beverage.
The second one is sugary drinks. And here's why they're a problem. When you eat something solid, especially something with protein or fiber, it generally takes longer to eat and can help you feel full. But a sugary drink? You can drink a lot of sugar in just a few minutes, and you may not feel as full as you would after eating a meal. So it's easy to add a lot of extra sugar and calories without really feeling like you've eaten much. Do that once? Not a big deal. Do it every day for years? That's a very different story. Over time, frequent consumption of sugary drinks can make weight control and metabolic health harder.
Yogurt, factory store yogurt. What you do is you buy the plain yogurt and then you use your own fruit to mix in with.
Now, yogurt is where we need some context. Lustig isn't saying all yogurt is bad. He's talking about the sweetened versions. Think about the difference. You take plain yogurt and add some strawberries or blueberries yourself. You know exactly what you're putting in. But some flavored yogurt products can contain a surprising amount of added sugar. And that's an important lesson. The food itself isn't always the problem. Sometimes it's what's added to it. So instead of thinking, I can never eat yogurt, think, can I choose the version with less added sugar? That's a much more useful way to look at food.
Anything with a trans fat, candy bars, unless they're like straight chocolate.
And then there are candy bars and other highly processed treats. But here's where I want to make something very clear. Ultra-processed doesn't automatically mean poisonous. That's too simple. The bigger concern is the kind of food we're talking about. Many highly processed snack foods are easy to overeat and can be high in added sugar, unhealthy fats, sodium, and calories, while providing relatively little fiber. And when those foods start replacing vegetables, fruit, beans, whole grains, and other nutritious foods, that's when the overall diet can become a problem. So it's less about saying, never eat this food, and more about asking, what makes up most of my diet?
How about ice cream?
I bring ice cream in.
Interesting. Even though it's got sugar.
I love ice cream.
But
For dessert. Do you know how often I have ice cream?
No.
About once a week.
And honestly, this might be the most important part of his answer, because he's showing that healthy eating doesn't have to mean never enjoying anything. He eats ice cream, but he treats it like a treat. That's the difference. There's a huge difference between having dessert occasionally and having sugary, highly processed foods throughout the day, every day. Healthy eating isn't about being perfect. It's about what you do most of the time. So why does all of this matter as you get older? Because your diet doesn't just affect your weight. It can affect your blood sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure, heart health, and the amount of fiber you're getting. And fiber is especially important. Fiber helps slow digestion, helps you feel full, and feeds the helpful bacteria living in your gut. That's one reason foods like beans, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and whole grains are so valuable. So instead of trying to find one magical superfood, focus on building a diet around foods that give your body something useful, and then leave room for the occasional treat. So, what are the foods Lustig tries to avoid? Trans fats, sugary drinks, heavily sweetened foods, and highly processed treats. But the real lesson isn't to become afraid of food. It's to make nutritious foods your everyday choices and keep the less nutritious stuff occasional, because your health isn't determined by one meal. It's shaped by what you do again and again. And if you want to hear the full conversation with Dr. Robert Lustig, I've linked the full video in the description.